Hey, what's up, dividend investors? Every single month, I invest $1,000 into a new stock. For June, I found a business that is spread across 40 countries, hire more than 90,000 consultants, generates tons of recurring revenue, and just started to pay a dividend. So we're going to take a look at this company in this video, but first, let's take a look at what my portfolio has been doing so far. So I've invested about $4,000 already. So right now I'm up almost 12% at 11.67. The annual income is at 63 bucks a year. So not too much. As you can see, it's really a low yield, high growth portfolio. So the current yield of this portfolio is 1.36, but the average of the past 5 years is actually 9.84%. So the dividend growth rate in this portfolio is double digit. So what's inside? Well, I do have roughly $1,000 invested in Franco-Nevada, National Bank, Stentec, and Waste Connection. As you can see in the gain and loss column at the far right, all stocks are generating double-digit returns besides Waste Connection. Of course, to be fair, I just started this 4 months ago, so there's not much conclusion to be drawn, but still, it's always good to start on a good foot, right? So all stats that you see here has been generated by Dividend Stocks Rock. I use the DSR Pro portfolio management system to create my portfolios, manage them, and of course, identify the weakest points. Now, let's get on to the main topic of this video, the purchase of June. So I invested my $1,000 into CGI, ticker CGI.A.TO, or you can also buy it on the New York Stock Exchange under GIB. So today we're going to look at my investment thesis, the dividend triangle, and the potential risk, because unfortunately nothing is perfect. So let's get started with the investment thesis and look at CGI playbook. So its playbook is quite simple. It's a global IT business end-to-end. So the company manages IT services and business processes and also offers strategy in consulting. The business operates across 40 countries around the world. They have a global presence, mostly in North America and Europe, employing over 90,000 consultants. The company offers many market verticals. So about 40% of its business is generated from government contracts, which are super stable and highly predictable. They have 22% in the financial industry, 22% MRD stands for manufacturing, retail, and distribution, another 12% in communication services and utilities, and finally 6% in healthcare system. So as you can see, the company is quite global, offering like end-to-end service in the IT, generating very stable and recurring revenues. Now let's take a look at their growth vectors. So in terms of growth vectors, we have like 3 major ones that we have identified. The first one is CGI grows by acquisition. So we're talking about a build and buy strategy where the company is buying smaller companies into similar verticals. By doing this, they are able to expand their service offers and also grow their book of clients. So it's kind of like a good way to cross-sell opportunities. The second growth vector is the company that has a very strong booking. So by the nature of its business, they are able to grow and predict the future cash flow in a very easy way. So their book-to-bill ratio is above 100%, which means that they are booking more things, so they're receiving more orders for the future months than they have delivered already. So you can already count on a great year for 25 and potentially 26 for this, and that again is a great mix of recurring and new businesses. Finally, there is a lot of hype about AI, right? Well, you need to have a consultant theme to help you grow your business using artificial intelligence, and that business may be CGI. So CGI has conducted surveys and they're saying that 79% of their clients are exploring generative AI and 26% is already using it. You can bet that this number is only going to grow moving forward. Finally, let's take a look at its economic moat. So a moat is a barrier to entry, is a competitive advantage, and the one that is like the most important for CGI is this high switching cost. As they are working with their clients end to end to build customized solutions for them, So for the client, it would be quite costly in terms of time, energy, and of course in terms of money to switch around and go for another competitor. That also translates into 90% plus of their contract being renewed, so their client retention is absolutely stellar. Now let's move on to the dividend triangle. So as you know, I love to look at 3 simple metrics to determine if I like a company or not. So I will look at the revenue growth, the earnings per share growth, and of course, when a company makes more sales and make more profit, it should lead to more dividend growth. In this case, we see a nearly perfect dividend triangle in a sense where we have compounding revenue at about a pace of 4% per year. Earnings per share grows even better, showing that the company is able to expand their margin at 10% a year over the past 5 years. But unfortunately, we do not have the dividend graph because they just started to pay a dividend. My wild guess is with revenue growth close to mid-single digit and almost double digit all the time for the earnings per share, I expect a mid-single to high single digit dividend growth rate moving forward. So now that I have a very strong investment thesis and the narrative matches the numbers, let's take a look at the potential risks. As I said, nothing is perfect. So when you look at CGI, you have to ask yourself, what could possibly go wrong? In this case, well, since the company grows by acquisition, there are like 2 things that could happen with those acquisitions. There is a risk of integration. So while you are acquiring new businesses, maybe the fit is not going to be that natural. And the other thing is also to maybe destroy value. When you pay too much for an acquisition, or if you buy a vertical that is not really aligned with the rest of your business model, then you may generate less profit and that becomes a poor investment. The second risk is the fact that they rely on 40% of their revenue on government contracts. That has like 2 downsides. The first one is usually government contracts are less profitable, so it will limit margin going forward. And the second thing is, if government starts to cut down their expenses, well, CGI will see their revenue slowing down naturally as well. So having a better diversification would be a good idea in that case. Finally, there are also other competitors, and the nerve of the game here is talent and the retention of these talents. So great consulting in IT could go work for Accenture, for example, or Tata Consulting in India. So this will, and actually it gives Tata Consulting a good advantage in terms of labor costs because they have access to more offshore engineers, which is not the case for CGI. So in general, I think I have my hands on a great business that is well diversified, focusing on generating more recurring revenue as it grows. It will be a great candidate for a low yield, high growth type of portfolio. I hope that you have enjoyed this video. Before you leave, go in the comment section. Let me know if you have any suggestion for me for my next $1,000 for July. And in the meantime, do not forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel to not miss my next video next Thursday. And until then, don't forget to stay invested.